Good afternoon, students. I hope that you're in good spirit and healthy and making the most of the time that we have at hand and utilize the time productively, as I've said before, and be cheerful and be healthy. Exercise on a daily basis. Staying at home, but exercises are necessary on a daily part, on a daily routine. So today I'm going to teach about reading skills. You know, reading skills is a very important and integral part of business English. It's a good technique to learn English. It helps you in your pronunciation of words correctly, and you develop a sound vocabulary. और रीडिंग मैं कहता हूँ कि एक यंग एज से स्टार्ट होना चाहिए हर एक व्यक्ति में. The younger you start, the better you begin. So as they say, a good beginning is well ended. So is half done. So you must begin this habit, or you must inculcate this habit at a very young age rather. And then you will have a very good command over English. It should be specially encouraged in children, reading, the habit of reading. Let's look at the definition of reading. Reading is first of all a mental process. There are many definitions of reading, but this is the one that I have chosen. Reading is when someone looks into your written text and starts to absorb the information from the written linguistic message. So जो आप एक स्पंज की तरह जो आप पढ़ते हो, एक स्पंज की तरह आप उसको सोख लेते हो अपने दिमाग में. You comprehend, you process that what you read into information, and that is how the mind works. So let's look at the first definition. Perceiving a written text in order to understand its contents. This can be done silently, silent reading. The understanding that results is called reading comprehension. So बहुत लोग silent reading में भी believe करते हैं. If you're studying for an exam, most people will read silently. Some do read aloud, but most people read it silently. And this understanding results in better comprehension skills, where you understand the passage and are able to answer the questions that follow. And the second part of a definition of reading is saying a written text aloud, oral reading. This is called as oral reading. This can be done with or without understanding of the content. So here understanding is not a necessity. You could read the whole passage without actually understanding it, reading it in class. So that is an example. Now let us understand that the three different levels. First of all, it's pure or literal meaning. That is the meaning to the familiar words that are given. First, when you read, जो वास्तविक मीनिंग होती है उन शब्दों की, हम उसको लिटरल मीनिंग कहते हैं, and we take it and they might be familiar because we have come across those words before. So they are familiar words and we understand those words in the literal sense of the writing. Second, recognition of the writer's intention of the given text. Example, जैसे एग्जाम्पल के लिए सकाज़म या व्यंग होता है हिंदी में, तो कई बार जो लेखक होता है वो लिखता है कुछ श्रेणी में, लेकिन उसका मतलब होता है कोई और. जैसे अगर आप घर पे सो रहे हों और आपके पिताजी आते हैं कमरे में और वो कहते हैं ओ खूब पढ़ाई हो रही है, it does not mean that he is actually complimenting you or that you're studying hard. He is meaning it in another sense, the sarcastic sense और व्यंग्यात्मक तरीके से वो आपको बोल रहा है. तो ये भी हम लोग को राइटर किस इंटेंशन से बोल रहा है ये अंडरस्टैंड करना होगा. एंड देन ऑफ कोर्स द पर्सनल एक्सपीरियंस विच हेल्प्स यू टू अंडरस्टैंड द गिवन टेक्स्ट. आपके पर्सनल एक्सपीरियंस होते हैं, आपने उन वर्ड्स को पहले पढ़ा है, वो भी एक अंडरस्टैंडिंग बिल्ड करते हैं आप में. So these three levels can be described as, when we read the lines, we read between the lines, and we read beyond the lines. Reading between the lines को वो कहते हैं कि जो वो चीज़ को समझ लेना जो लेखक ने लिखा नहीं है. Reading between the lines. So if you're not familiar with this term, it's used very commonly और ये समझ में आना चाहिए कि रीडिंग बिटवीन द लाइन्स बेसिकली मीन्स दैट अंडरस्टैंडिंग what the inner meaning of what the writer wants to say. So reading is nothing but a decoding process where the writer is the encoder जो encode करते हैं मैसेज को, और रीडर जो है उस मैसेज को डिकोड करके समझता है अपने मस्तिष्क में. So that is what you call the writer being the encoder, setting it in code, and the decoder is with the reader. Now there are various techniques of reading. A very popular technique is the SQ3R technique. SQ3R एक abbreviation है या shortened form है to help you remember the steps and to make reference to it simpler. The symbols stand for the steps followed by using this method. Survey, S for survey, Q for question, R for read or recall, and review. So this is the SQ3R, that what is the abbreviated form. So let's first look at survey. What do we do in a survey? Survey, if there is a lesson which is going to be taught, you have prior information that the teacher is going to lecture you on this particular topic or this lesson. You must survey that topic beforehand, before the class. Read you must survey, and you should take no more than 10 to 25 minutes, even in the longest chapter. That is एक ऊपरी रूपरेखा हम लोग तय करते हैं जब हम सर्वे करते हैं. The purpose of surveying the chapter is to get a general idea, एक आपको वास्तविक आइडिया मिले कि क्या है ये इस लेसन में, क्या पढ़ाने वाले हैं, ये लेसन किस चीज़ के बारे में है, what is the information that the author gives, how many subtopics or subheadings are there to the information, and how it is broken down into, और कितना समय लगेगा, how much time is required to spend reading it. So this is the survey. You must survey the lesson before the class. Questions. Again, this activity is done before the class. जितने headings हैं, you must turn to each of the headings into a question by asking one of the following words: who, what, where, when, why, or how. Now when you do this gives you a comprehensive answer to all that is stated in that text or in that passage. So this is a very important activity, questioning or putting up the questions for your own better understanding. जब आप questions को दिमाग में रख के आप जब पढ़ते हैं तो answers automatically आपके दिमाग में आएंगे. Third activity is the reading or read. This is again done after class, not before class but after class. The other two activities were done before class. This one is done after class. Actively read the section of the text accompanying the heading of an answer to the question and ask yourself in step 2. जो questions आपने step 2 में पूछे हैं, who, what, where, why and how, उन answers को आप अपने दिमाग में दोहराइए. Ask yourself that question. The answer will usually be made up of the main ideas. जो मुख्य ideas हैं paragraph में, उन्हीं के वो answers निकल करके आएंगे. और जो supporting details है वो भी. उस section को या उस text को आप answer पाने के हिसाब से आप उसको पढ़ें. Who, where, what and why, these questions के answers पाने के अनुसार आप उसको पढ़ें. Then recalling it. Again, this activity is done after the class or after the lecture is over. The answer to each question, recall the answer to each question to yourself. Put the answer, recall मतलब वापस याद करने की कोशिश कीजिए वो answers जो आपने पूछे थे. Put the answers into your own words. अपने शब्दों में answers को डालना बहुत ज़रूरी है. Comprehension exercises जितने भी आते हैं, आप हूबहू text को copy नहीं कर सकते. You will not get good marks. So you must put it in your own words or rephrase the author's words. This is very important. Be sure that you can recall the answer. जो आपने answers हैं वो आप वापस याद करके आप उसको recall कर सकते हैं. और उसके बाद एक जो लास्ट एक्टिविटी होती है वो रिव्यूइंग की होती है. When you review, reviewing is checking whether we have followed the earlier steps promptly and effectively. Review में और कुछ नहीं, जो बाकी steps हम लोगों ने किए हैं, like recall, read, question and survey, and of course, so have we followed this or not? This will come under the review. You're reviewing your own work, not someone else is not reviewing your work, but whether you have followed it correctly and promptly and effectively. So this is the SQ3R technique of reading. We will follow it up with other techniques in the next lesson. So till then, goodbye and stay safe.